thank you for being the eyes and ears for us. We can't tell you how much we appreciate that. Of course, seeing all of you here together at Google I/O is amazing. I hope you guys get a chance to form connections and bonds with each other. It's quite an honor to host you guys. And if you have any particular kind of feedback or any questions about the GDG program or about what we're doing at Google, I'd be happy to take them for a few moments. Yes?
Hi, I'm from Bolivia, and I just tried the new Google Plus last night. It looks amazing. Great work, by the way. But for example, in my country, internet connection is really slow. So I'm pretty sure the experience won't be as good as it is here. So do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, that's a great question. So the question was, he's from Bolivia. He loves the new Google Plus, but he's worried that when he goes back to Bolivia, where he doesn't have the same bandwidth, the experience won't be as good. And do we have any thoughts about that? We do. It's a very, very tough question. When we design software and we put in some new functionality, for example, the new Google Plus is very intensive, JavaScript, a lot of bandwidth that comes down, we know that in some areas it's not going to work well. And so we have to ask ourselves, what do we do? Do we keep it simple and flat, but fast, and we know it'll work everywhere, and keep the lowest common denominator approach? And I generally decided against that. I wanted to make sure that in places where there's high bandwidth, we have the best looking and most performant and richest website in the world. And we want to take Google Plus and just push the bounds. And so in places like Europe, in places like Korea, in the United States, where bandwidth is fast and getting faster, we think the site's awesome. In many other countries like Bolivia or India, we know the site's it's going to not perform well. And so we've really designed 3 different versions of Google+. One is the website. The other is the mobile apps, which is we're seeing explosive growth. And the mobile apps have different characteristics, latency characteristics, for obvious reasons. And then the third is we've produced a tier 2 version, a very lightweight version of Google+. And that's for places like Africa, in key places where bandwidth is extremely limited. And so we continue to invest in all 3. You're not going to be perfect in all situations, right? In some places it's going to be a little slower. Our competition is going to be much faster in those areas. We know that, and we continue to work on that problem.
Can you say hello to Bolivia?
Sure. Hello, Bolivia. See, I can follow directions pretty well. Yes,
Hi, Vic. I'm from the Philippines, so I have a question. So are you planning on building like a standalone for the auto-enhance feature of Google Plus? Because I archive my pictures, but I don't normally upload all. So I would like to have something like standalone software to process those, so I could keep those memories in like a hard drive or something.
That's a great question. So the question is, are we planning to build an auto-enhance feature for a client software? In other words, you don't need that in the cloud, but just run it on your albums that are not uploaded. The answer is no. And the reason is that the algorithms that we're using to do auto-enhance are being changed every day. We keep modifying those things. Just last night, there was another improvement to a critical piece of the auto-enhance functionality. And those algorithms are built to scale on Google's infrastructure. So when we say the data center is auto-enhancing your software, it really is. Now, it would take a lot of engineering to go rewrite that as client software. And of course, then we'd have to update the client software all the time. It's also the algorithms are designed to run on distributed computers. And so the engineering work behind all that, I don't see us doing that. We really are investing in getting your photos up into the cloud and then doing magic to them. The biggest concern that we heard from people was, I keep my images in high resolution. Like in my case, I have almost 30,000 photos that are shot in RAW, right? And so what do you do when an image is 25 megabytes? How are you going to get it up to the cloud? I'm willing to pay for that, right? But still, the upload time is really long. We don't have anything to announce today, but we're aware of that problem, and we're trying to think of a solution. So if you have a terabyte of albums, how do you quickly get that to the Google Cloud? Nothing to announce today, but we're aware of that problem. Okay, sure. Yes?
Thank you for the investment that you made, and I know it's a big investment in terms of code labs and materials, tech writers. I want to please keep investing because we magnify the effort that we put in tenfold or 20-fold or 100-fold when we go makes our lives so much easier.
So, thank you. The comment was one of appreciation for the investment that Google is making in samples and in labs and other material that's useful for the GDGs. And the plea was, please continue to invest. You bet, we will. When you run a platform like Chrome or Android, where you provide critical services to developers like the Maps API, you can't, you have to be serious and you have to invest in the developer community. Many companies who tried to have developer programs failed. I won't name them, but you can think of the obvious ones where the developer program has atrophied. One of the reasons it's atrophied is because those companies don't invest in those areas. We deeply understand how important the developer program is. Where's Michael? Michael runs this program. He runs the GDG portion, which we love. He works in Michael Winton's organization as well, and Michael runs the whole program overall. But this is a critical area of investment, all the way up to the CEO level. Larry understands how important this is, and don't worry, we're committed. Let me also tell you, we are incredibly grateful. You guys, have other things in your life you could be doing. And so the enthusiasm you show for Google's properties, we can't pay that back. And all we can do is try to make sure that we earn that it's worthy of your time. And sometimes we're going to screw up. I'm going to apologize in advance. Companies don't get these things perfect. But hopefully when we screw up, we can fix it quickly. So thank you. Yes.
And you are someone from the senior level executive who comes to other cities other than San Francisco to present when we have a bigger meetings or development.
Yeah, so the request was, this gentleman's from Washington, D.C. The request was when senior executives travel to various parts of the world, they really like to have them participate in various GDG events. Absolutely. I think one of the challenges is that at the senior level, we do so much important business travel. We're away from our families so much that it becomes just a matter of scheduling. I know my schedule is booked through the third week of December already. And so that's fairly typical. It's pretty painful. You should see trying to go to the doctor. The dentist or the doctor always laughs because it takes me 5 months to get in on important things. And so it's challenging, but we really, if the dates align, the spirit is willing, we would love to do those things. It's just hard. Yeah. Yes, please.
Hello, I'm Cedric.
Cedric.
So I am a founder of Paris Android User Group, GDG. So I'm the founder of GDG Paris Android User Group, and I am also a CEO of a young French startup, Genie Mobile, dedicated to Android, only Android. And I have a big question because in France, we do a lot of projects in the business side, corporate in the industry. So I would like to know the vision you have and the Google vision of what Android will be tomorrow in the corporate and in the industry. We develop RAM for digital display, for Giseleco, for car, for Renault, things like that. So what is your vision and your strategy? Thank you very much.
So at Google, we really care about our platforms being successful in the enterprise. We really care. We want it to succeed. The approach we're taking is sometimes misunderstood by people. I'll tell you a lesson that I learned. What year is this? 2013. So almost 25 years ago. 25 years ago, I started running Windows, and it was just before Windows 3, and I thought, wow, this is incredible. I was a programmer on Linux, but the ability for me to run my DOS apps in a GUI environment, I thought this was going to have a big impact. But the companies that I talked to were like, this is crap. We're an IBM shop. We are not going to take DOS and Windows and run them in the enterprise. And as a young kid in my 20s, I witnessed something amazing. What happened was people would buy their own machines and run Windows, and they would bring it into the corporation. And then the IT guy would say, what is this? And they're like, this is what I'm using to multitask. And so people forget, Windows came into the enterprise through the back door. A friend of mine, Steve Jobs, reminded me all the time, because I'm with the iPhone. I said, okay, what's the enterprise story? And he was like, no, iPhone is going to be enormously successful with consumers, and they're going to bring it in the enterprise. And he was right? And what happened was the CTO came in, and the CEO of the company said, I want an iPhone. I don't care what the rules are. I don't care if you have BlackBerry servers. Give me an iPhone. And sure enough, that happened everywhere. And sure enough, within a year and a half, most corporations said, okay, we now have a plan for iPhone, and Apple did add those enterprise features later. And so what I learned from those two lessons is if you have a platform that is wildly popular with people work at businesses, and they're going to go in and say, hey, this thing is amazing. I'm using it in my personal life, my video conference with my family. It's amazing. Why is our video conferencing solution suck? I want that thing here. And that's really our core strategy. Now, of course, you have to add those enterprise features too. And so we listen to the feedback we get. And we add those enterprise security features, management features, logging features, regulatory features. We add all those things. It's just that we do them in the order that I just mentioned. First, make the platform wildly successful with consumers, and then add those features. And that's been our strategy. With Android in enterprises, it's amazing to see the adoption rate.
In the industry. Connected up to.
Yes.
So TV and things like that, you have a lot of projects around
yes,
that.
Yes. Thank you, Cedric.
Thank you.
Question, yes, please, here.
Yeah, I have an interesting perspective. I used to be a developer evangelist for Microsoft, and I'm an MVP for Microsoft, and I'm a GDE. So I'm probably the only MVP GDE in the whole world. So I don't see very many Microsoft MVP stickers here. I'm wondering now that you're building up the GDE program, what your thoughts are on community outreach beyond Google. I did a lot of work at Microsoft in code camps and places like that, and obviously Van runs Silicon Valley Code Camp, and I'm hoping to hear some positive news on that front. So I'd like to see more Googlers outside of Google events. So community events and sponsorships. So I just wanted to put the little nugget in your ear and hear what your thoughts were.
Yeah, I started the MVP program 19 years ago. So it's been 15 years at Microsoft, so, including running the developer group there. So I'm really familiar with those programs. They're good programs there too. I think the question is, can Google do more outside of its own events? And the answer is, we would like to. It becomes challenging to scale, right? Because we have employees who are so busy and swamped with the adoption of Android and Chrome and our other services. We really are overwhelmed. And really, it's our programs like this that allow us to scale. And so it's difficult enough for us to meet just the demand for our own events. I mean, I think you saw here with Google I/O, it sells out in minutes. And you know, the demand online. Yesterday, we had over 1 million people watching on the YouTube site live. That's insane. You know, and that is not a average guy who's 31 years old in Kansas, right? That's the entire worldwide developer community. Everyone who's interested in developing is watching. And so one of the biggest challenges that Michael Winton has, he runs the entire developer program right in front of you, is how to scale. How do we do these things? And one of the ways that we're trying to do it is through video. So I think earlier you saw, you know, developer live broadcast, because we can reach a lot more people. It's not just at our events. Any developer who cares about, hey, what is this Android cloud messaging thing, can in a few seconds Google it, find a video, and then find a community. And so that's how we're trying to scale. And I think the only way we can.
I just wanted one thing, and this might be a good segue to give you one of our shirts here. This shirt actually has certificates. This was actually a community crowdsourced design on Google+. So we had people put designs on Google+, and they voted with +1s. And this was actually created by Nino. Are you here? Nino? Oh, she's not here. From Georgia, GDG Tbilisi, they designed this. And what's really cool about it is this is the four primary elements. And our theme for our summit this week was the fifth element. Because all of our organizers, I don't know if you know the movie The Fifth Element, yes. but okay, so there's the 4 primary elements. At the end, they figure out they need this fifth element, which is a person. And our organizers are the fifth element that, you know, are making the world a better place through Google technology. And the reason I wanted to say that now is that when she was asking about doing good things, this is the group that can scale to do good things beyond just Google events.
You can tell he's really passionate about this. and thank you. I'm going to win this on Saturday. But I'm not doing. It's okay. But I'm not doing press interviews like today. But thank you. Yes, question in the back.
Hi, and nice meeting you. My name is Akram. I came from Palestine, third world country. It's not a question, it's a request. Here in my country, we don't have 3G, we still are going to get things. And the thing is, we started to get the community involved more with the technology. There is really great opportunity for us in there. It's not a question; it's a request. Could you please, would we please be interested in giving a Latin speech in my community to push things more, get people more interested, and give them more hope in Palestine?
I would love to go to Palestine. One of my friends, Joseph Nasir, is from Beirut, a very good friend, and I would love to go. Once again, like I mentioned earlier, the challenge just becomes to schedule it. But maybe later this year or early next year, I'm actually going to try to take some time and travel. And of course, if I do that, I promise I will make sure I connect with the GDGs so that we get an evening or something to actually do it. Maybe just one or two more questions. I'm not going to do a Larry here. Yes.
Yes, hi. So I'm Wojtek from Poland. My company deals mostly in internet marketing, and most of our revenue comes from working with clients on the Facebook platform and also on YouTube, managing YouTube channels. We still have a really big problem convincing our clients to come to Google+, because it seems there's lot many more things we can do on Facebook. It will also help if we had any numbers or incentives that we could present to our clients to bring them to Google+. What's your comment on that? Any thoughts?
It's a great question. I remember getting a similar question from someone a few years ago. And he came to me and he said, look, Vic, it's been 18 months you've been working on Android. You sold, for the whole year, you sold 3 million Androids, Android devices with T1. That's what Apple sold on Saturday. Because I can't get anyone to invest in it. And I said, yes, I know, but look at the growth chart. And he said, don't believe it, not at all. And he actually left and stopped developing for Android. That was December, I remember that. Of course, he couldn't see that in the next year and a half, Android was going to explode. It wasn't going to be 3 million a year anymore, but it was going to grow at an incredible rate. Google Plus is in that situation. We just announced yesterday that our active user base just on plus.google.com, I'm not talking about people using Google Plus on Gmail or Chrome or YouTube, was 190 million 30-day actives. Now, a competitor of ours just announced after 7 years, they hit 200 million. We're at 190 million, and we're not even 2 years old. Now, the problem is that it's growing worldwide, evenly. And so in your particular country, another competitor might be really big, and Google Plus might be a third of the volume of that other competitor. So it may perceive as, oh, there's not much growth. But worldwide, the numbers are staggering, and they're growing. And what I do is I look at that trend. Total usage logged in was 390 million until we announced yesterday. Almost 400 million people. They're active a month. Now that's coming to Google, logged in with a Google Plus profile. And if you have clients who are not sure, go to Google and type in Mercedes, or Audi, or Cadbury, or Versace, and look at what's happening in Google search. Right? Mercedes pops up on the right-hand side with their latest post. They introduced the new S-Class yesterday. And I just typed in Mercedes on the Google homepage, and there was the picture that they posted from their new S-Class. And you ask your client, how much did that cost? A whole ad on the right-hand side with Google Plus in search. How much money did you pay? You say, nothing. They were just active on Google Plus. And so when I talk to the heads of Cadbury or Nike or Mercedes or Audi, they go, this is incredible. And the numbers that we're getting are mind-boggling. One company, National Geographic, I was talking to their senior leadership, and National Geographic was just telling me how fast their following has grown in Google Plus. And they were just saying they were amazed at the rate of growth. So some of your clients are going to be able to see the trend. And other clients are going to be like my friend, who in December said, I've given up. 3 billion sales of Android, this platform's going to go. And so your job is, of course, is to help them see that trend. And then show them examples of other companies who are doing great on Google Plus. So I'm pretty excited about the growth. We never imagined that we'd see this kind of momentum take off. The numbers from last night, which I can't announce, but obviously we hit all-time records last night just because of the publicity of the new features. They continue to stagger us every day. People are joining, they're getting their friends, and these things are viral. Meaning once one person joins, they get another friend, and then it just grows. And we're starting to see that. Thank you. Maybe one last question, please.
First of all, thanks a lot. You were incredible yesterday with all the images and photographs. A quick question, everyone is young here and everyone is ambitious and trying to achieve different geographies. We are all from different parts of the world. You have had an incredible career and you are in some ways, listening to you yesterday and today, I think most of us will agree there is a lot to learn. What would a thought which you will tell us which we can go back with? Like, what should we do in our careers, in our professions as developers?
It's a great question. And I've always thought that being in technology, in the space that we're in, is very, very special. Many other fields are very mature. In the field of medicine, which is changing fast, but still relatively mature. Change does not happen that often. You go to school, you get a degree, and every 5 years or so you have to get re-accredited. But the world does not change in a year. In the field that we work in, you can be the top operating system, and 5 years later you can be on the down and out. The world can change in 2 years. Now that's really good for us, because number one, you have to be bold. We love the change, it's exciting, but it means that for career growth, you just can't go and get educated and you're done. You have to say, I love the changes, I'm going to be involved, and I'm going to build a community of people that I learn from. And that's super powerful, right? Because something new happens, you can sense it in the community, that this thing is taking off, and then you can learn it. And you have to have that spirit. So my career advice would be build a great community of people that you can learn from. Participate in that community, be an active member of it. Don't be change averse. Embrace change. Learn as much as you can, and be positive. And if you can do those things, what a great industry to be in technology. I predict the next 20 years will be even more exciting than everything I saw in the last 20, 25 years. So thank you all for supporting Google+, Google+, GDG. Thank you guys so much.
Wow, you guys are all here. That was a great answer. So basically, to advance your career, you need to stay active in your GDGs. This one's for all your, we're going to do one more photo opportunity at the end of the show. So at that session, that cannot be named.